I've actually been at Gunn this is my 15th year, but this is my first year working as outreach counselor. So I don't have like an assigned caseload of students, but I oversee students in a smaller program, which is called the College Pathways Program. And basically students in the program would be recommended by their middle school counselor, and ways in which you would get recommended would be most commonly students that are first generation college bound, so students that don't have a parent that has attended college in this country. About 80% of the students are also on our district's free and reduced lunch list, so that would imply lower socioeconomic status. Or students that, for maybe other reasons, are considered at risk or deemed as being underperforming, meaning they have been on some sort of a watch list or a DNF list for at least 2 grading periods. So that subset of students is probably the exact opposite of what a typical Gunn student may be described as. As you know, most of our students would come from Palo Alto. Some of them actually live on Stanford campus. If they have parents that work here, we have a handful of students that come from Los Altos Hills, and a few that would be bussed over from East Palo Alto or East Menlo Park. The majority of our students would be from Palo Alto. So when the average, I don't know what the average income is of a
I should
Palo
have
Alto
found
person.
that. That's a good question, actually.
It's high. It's ridiculously high. Versus students in our program where the average income is, or family income is around 40,000, which is like very, very different. So different in terms of access to just basic necessities, right? Obviously, access to any sort of educational additives like tutoring and things like that are going to be limited for students in the program. So the idea is that rather than expecting them to compete with their peers without having the same access and resources, we try and bring some of those components to the students on campus. So it is an after out extracurricular program, so it's not a class. I meet with the students each grade level about once every 3 weeks, and it's usually either during lunch or after school. Right now we have about 150 students in the program, grades 9 through 12. And the idea is that they start off as a 9th grader, and then sort of I follow them all 4 years.
But we found the statistic, the median family
Oh,
income in Palo Alto.
163,000.
All right, so
Yeah,
what,
compared to
a fourth?
40,000.
Yeah, that's about a fourth of the median income in Palo Alto. So again, there's a lot of challenges that come along with sort of being an other or a subset in a community like this. So some of the things, I'm kind of jumping ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Some of the challenges that our students would face would come with things like being able to compete in terms of the classroom. Many of our students in the general Gunn population are coming to high school on track for multiple AP classes and advance this and advance that, and that oftentimes is with or because of a lot of outside assistance. So they're taking prep classes and have tutors and all these other things, which kind of creates an unlevel playing field. So while we may never be able to totally level out the playing field, we do try and make sure that parents are aware of what they can do to support the students. So parent education is also a big piece. Also, many of our students are native Spanish speakers, and about half of our students' parents prefer communication in a language other than English, which sometimes poses a problem with them getting access to information and things at school too, so we're trying to bridge the gap there. We also serve all of the students, I believe, that are currently living in the Buena Vista Trailer Park, which I don't know if any of you follow the local news or have in the past. There's been, for years, a lot of controversy over whether the property was going to be sold and what would happen to folks that live in the trailer park, which is one of the last affordable housing areas or pockets here in Palo Alto. So in addition to displacing a large number of families, and also that impacts diversity and being able to have folks who have regular jobs for a living being able to afford to live in Palo Alto. So that's a layer of stress that has been over many of the families' heads for a number of years. So for some of the students, it's working with them and their parents on like relocation and figuring out what it would mean if they have to move out of the area, and transition plans and things like that. Let's see.
Let's stop there then.
Okay.
Yeah.